I'm live. Yes, I'm live. Hey now. I'm doing a lot of reviewing. And so we got some corrections I have to make. This episode's going to be about Venus and Mercury retrograde double whammy. Because it's a double whammy. It really is. So this is going to be fun. Mm. Whew. Start off by introducing myself. I am spiritual coach Ari Mac. I specialize in astrology, manifestation. I'm an expert at it. I've been doing it for over 20 years. I've helped hundreds of people deal with their trauma, to deal with their core beings through meditations, affirmation, aromatherapy, and just doing better because they want to. So thank you for joining my podcast. I truly, truly appreciate it. I try to make sure that I'm giving a little bit of everything so that you guys can see my credibility. I do have over 300 episodes on iHeart from my previous years here on the net. And I do have programs, classes, one-on-ones, things to connect us that will help you be a better person. Because that's the whole goal, is you be a better person. And if you're a better person, you're going to act right and you're going to begot more of that energy, right? And repel that other stuff. So I'm all about what's going on the inside. So that's my spiel. I will be introducing classes to you guys and giving you opportunities to come in so that you can hear more specific details. This that I'm speaking on is just more my overview. To get more specific, we do have to do a one-on-one, or at least start coming to meditation class, because at least in meditation you can start grounding yourself and start centering on what is it, is my being, what is my trauma, and we all have something, and how you learn to manage that is going to be the quality of your life. Make sense? Okay, so definitely. Okay, so I do astrology. I've been studying over 30 years personally, 30, 40 years. And I used it to base my spiritual guidance and my affirmations and my suggested aromatherapies. That's the candles. Candles by Ari. Yes, that's what came out of that. Learning how to put scents and colors together, soy based candles, so that you guys could have something to smell and say to keep that energy moving forward. Because what I realize is I can't be everywhere. So I have to make sure I have little pieces of information going out all the time because we need it down here. We need as much positivity as we could possibly get. So, all right. So, Venus and Mercury retrograde. I have notes. That's how much information was coming through. It was notes. And first of all, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Oh, thank you, Miss Olivia. Appreciate. You're a part of something I'm going to share a little bit later on because, Spirit does send us messages. And sometimes it takes us a while before we can actually hear those messages. Okay. And that's the big thing down here is learning your rhythm so you can flow through instead of getting caught up in what you can't do. Because that's easy. That's easy getting caught up in what you can't do because it's easy. You just don't do it. After a while, you don't have the motivation. Then it becomes overwhelming. And then, the domino. So it all starts within you. And we do have a couple of interesting things happening. Whew, how do I describe this? Okay, so Venus is the planet of love, right? Everybody knows, okay, there's 10 planets, 12 signs. A couple of those planets share signs, right? Okay, so when you got Venus, okay, planet of love, all right, going backwards, that's already interesting. And that only happens maybe every 18 months or so. It's not something I talk about publicly because I use it to look at charts when I'm looking at individuals and kind of guiding my clients through whatever they got to go through. Anywho, Venus, the planet of love, which normally is ruled by bling, 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 bling. Who rules Venus? I'm gonna leave that out there for a second. Who rules Venus? And I'm gonna give you a hint. It's two planets. One is an air and one is an earth sign. But there's two planets. Okay. That planet is going backwards. So normally it's comfortable in those two planets, which I'm gonna tell you in a little bit. And it's moving and grooving. But each sign goes through each sign, right? Each planet goes through each sign. So it has to do a cycle. So um I've been telling you guys that Venus would end its retrograde in Aries, and that was a partial truth. I was on the right mark, but I left out a note for myself that I had made, oh, probably a year or so ago, because I tried to chart out. And it doesn't end on the 27th, which is today that we're live, um, of March 2025. So I just marks this for myself too, so I remember. It actually ends on the 27th, and it ends in April. I'm so sorry. I totally made a big boo boo. Look at my notes. Yeah, it ends um, April 7th or so in Pisces. Today, it moved into Pisces. So Venus moved out of Aries, which is interesting there, and then it's now in Pisces, which is water. So it's still not in air or earth. Do you know those two signs that rule Venus? Earth is Taurus. Taurus rules Venus, along with Libra. Hmm. Libra also rules Venus. So it's earth and the air that comes together, and it just went into water. So that's going to make people a little bit more emotional and, maybe a little bit more loving or more sensitive. I got a feeling it's going to make a lot more sensitivities, because it's just like the universe just kind of stirring the pot a little bit here. So I do apologize. It did end in Aries, so I was correct, but I forgot my addendum that it would be shifting into another sign, and that wouldn't into the 7th or so of April. And I'll confirm that because, like I said, retro is still full effect. So I'm just like, ah. So with that said, that means we have a little bit more of reviewing in our love area. Yeah, we're going to have to do a little bit more self-love. And with Pisces, the spiritual sign. It's the compassionate sign. It's, like, you know, almost illusioned if you're not careful, because Pisceans are the mutable water of that particular set. So with that said, water moves in waves, and we are 99.9% water. So yeah, if you're feeling something, don't disregard it. Don't dismiss it. Maybe take some time to tune into what you're picking up, especially in the areas of your heart and your physical being. Because, like I said, Venus rules Libra and Taurus, which are both, pretty predominant as far as love. Okay, Tauruses are very much they rule money, and Libra rules partnerships, money and partnerships, right there. Okay, so if you do have some issues with your love life, I would do a little bit more meditations and think about your affirmation. Okay. And I'll make a suggestion on some fragrance, aromatherapy that will be helpful during this period. There will be, we are all changing. Nobody stays the same. But when you're in the flow of your divine design, it's just a lot smoother of a transition, if that makes any sense. When you're going against yourself and hurting yourself and never learn your lessons, okay? Now, it could be very difficult. It could be very, very, very difficult. So, with Venus already going backwards, but now I think it's more gentle because it's leaving Aries. Aries is a very aggressive position for Venus. I know my Venus is in that position, so I can speak authentically that is not one of those gentle positions. It's not that I'm mean, but I just want to get to the point. Let's go. Let's make it happen. And I got stalker issues, It's true, because I just want to make sure I love you. So you got to kind of laugh at that aspect. But then we have Taurus, and Taurus is Earth. It's the bull. It likes practicality. It likes to, take its time, but it can almost move too damn slow, right? Because it just wants to do it at its own pace. And that's why I think Spirit put those two together to learn how to work together in a Venus capacity. And don't we have to learn how to be physically practical with our partners in any aspect of life? I just thought that was genius when I saw it. I was like, boom. Because that's how I look at astrology, the hints, the notes, what Spirit is trying to tell us. And the stars are real. So that's the Venus situation. And now it's in Pisces. And that's, it's not a bad sign. It's just Pisces, very, watery, very emotional. It's not a strong ass position, but it also depends on what house it falls into in your chart. Okay. Because that also gives it that flavor on how you initiate and how you deal. So I would definitely spend a little bit more time loving yourself, paying attention to your intuition, your dreams, your hopes, anything that used to give you a little spark. You may want to just check in to see if you still have that spark. And that includes if old lovers, family, friends, people you haven't been in contact with start popping up. Not a problem either. Allow that flow, because maybe you need to learn something. We're in a review. Retrogrades is nothing but a universal review to see, did we really understand that? Did we really understand the lesson? Did we? Because you can't keep having the same thing happen over and over and over again unless there's something you're doing to contribute to that or not doing. So then we added Mercury. This is why I said it's Venus and Mercury retrograde, double whammy. Because then we went ahead and put Mercury streaming on top of it. Now, you guys already know about Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, another earth and air combo. Okay. But it's mutable. Yeah. Mercury is a mutable sign. That means it changes position. And Venus is cardinal. Cardinal means it never stops, which love never stops. And I explain more of that in the GAP program because that's more advanced information. Don't worry. We'll talk about that. It's coming down the pipes. So, with Mercury being in the position that it's in, which it has been in Aries. Well, it's also on the 29th. Yeah, the 29th. It's going to be moving into Pisces as well. So Saturday, yeah, I know it's funny. Saturday, Mercury is going to leave Aries, which is cool because the sun's in Aries. Mercury, Venus is moving into Pisces. So now Mercury is going to move into Pisces. So that's going to be a lot of water. Once again, it's immutable, so it's not a terrible position, but it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge because now you have to internalize what's been going on in your noggin. And I just came up with the catchphrase. That just embodies what this positioning does. And literally, it's practical, loving thoughts. Because Pisces needs that compassion. Mercury needs to communicate. And Venus wants to love. So why don't we just use our practical, loving thoughts to work through situations? Mm-hmm. Instead of getting angry and staying in that ball of, I can't stand you and blah, 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 blah. You know the story. How about we slow down? How about we reconnect with ourselves? How about that? How about looking at the fact that right now our world needs a lot of love, but you can't give something you don't have. So that's why we got to bless a lot of our leaders and send them a lot of love. And I mean that sincerely. Because whatever you put out, you're going to receive, right? And I have witnessed that over and over and over again. And sometimes that's why it's important to have your boundaries. Because your boundaries are going to keep you from giving too much of yourself away and then being resentful to the people. Like somehow they made you do something. You were forced into it. You didn't like it, but you had to do it. Come on. A boundary even though it can be challenging, it's healthy for you and the other party, because then they can't say you didn't tell them. They can't say they didn't know. Putting up healthy boundaries is one of the first major steps that you must do for your mental and spiritual well being. I'm going to say it again. Putting up healthy boundaries for your mental and spiritual well being is healthy. And that's the first step in moving toward taking better care of you. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because at this particular point in existence, we have information available literally at our fingertips. I'm coming live to you now on my own channel. I am not with K4HD anymore. And that's okay. And my RSS feed will be going through the right proper channels. I think they probably are, but I'm going to continue. And when you are walking in your divine design, that means you're comfortable with who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. You attract that like energy. You don't have any really animosity toward anyone because you are doing you. And with Venus moving into Pisces and Mercury moving into Pisces and the sun in this Aries, it's really time for us to slow down and look at self. And Aries, by the way, is the planet of war, but it's also the planet of self. Because you can be at war in yourself and be in a huge battle and nobody could see it. That's where trauma comes from. Trauma. When there is a point in your existence and you're getting told maybe not the best information, maybe you don't even have any information. You know, I know we have things that we say we should do in order and protocols we should do, but when those protocols break down, what do you do? How do you cope? It's a deep question. It really, really is. And with my clients, we explore that trauma so we can figure out how to roll with it instead of acting like it doesn't exist, because that's when it takes on a whole nother level. A whole nother level. Because you are now in a position where you are having to take care of self, having to create scenarios for your blessings. And when I say for your blessings, that's being prepared to receive them. Mm-hmm. Because when Mercury gives us this retrograde, and we're fortunate because Venus only retrogrades every once in a while, right? Mercury retrogrades 2 or 3 times a year. Yeah, think about that. 2 or 3 times a year, Mercury doing this little thing. Mm-hmm. And what can we do? Nothing. Not a dang thing. But it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. We've been experiencing it for our whole lives. If you really want to be honest and truthful with yourself, you just didn't know what it was, right? You didn't have a reference point of when energy was funky and why. And maybe give yourself permission to not take it so personal and make it so much about what you are going through. So, as you balance with who you're dealing with, where you're dealing with them, and how you're dealing with them, it makes you healthier. So then you're not so prone for depression and tapping into old wounds and not feeling personally okay all the time. Look, everybody has a process. Yesterday, I had to put out 2 or 3 fires. Um, Someone that's close to me has gone through knee surgery. My daughter's doing her midterms. My best friend is stressing out because of some work things. And I still have to continue. Even my other coworker is sick. What do? You put your nose to the grindstone, you do your affirmations, you do your prayers, and you be of service where you can. But you can't be of service everywhere. So that's why it's important to, use your meditation, use this information that I'm giving you, and come to meditation class. I almost call it medication because it feels like medication sometimes. I feel like I'm a chiropractor, like a yoga, but for your head. Because literally I have to get you back in line because you've been sleeping on the wrong side. You know how you sleep on the wrong side too long and then you wake up, you got a little crick in your neck? That's kind of what a retrograde, it brings to your attention. There's a little crick in your neck. And you may need to stop and pay attention to it a little bit more than you have been. Okay? So practical, loving thoughts. Can you do that? Can you come up with some practical, loving thoughts for yourself on a regular? Well, you're in luck because I also do a guided mindful meditation through Zoom. I'm gonna be using Zoom a lot. Me and Zoom, been doing it for 4 or 5 years now, but now I'm really doing it. So most of all my programs are going to be ran through Zoom. I was trying to do something through YouTube and stuff like that, and it just didn't quite click out. So I'm just going to stick to what I know until we continue to grow, you know. But it's time for us to take back ownership of our well beings. I'm willing to work with you if you're willing to work with me. So I would suggest start with the mindful guided meditation class. It's twice a month. Like I said, it's all through Zoom. You can register online. I'll leave the link below. But it's all at candlesbyari.com. Candlesbyari.com. And while you're there, you may want to look at the candles. Take a look at their meanings. Take a look at some of my history because, like I said, I help people with their trauma to deal with their core issues because that's the core of your being, starting through meditation. Because the astrology, affirmation, aromatherapy has been around forever. We all know this. But how do you use it? I mean, really implement it like a part of your regimen. Oh, thank you, Blue. Thank you for the compliment. Appreciate it. Mwah. Okay. And thank you guys. Thank you guys too. I appreciate you as well. But what I'm saying to you is it's time for us to take back our humanity, starting with ourselves. Treating yourself well should not be a chore. It should not be a burden. You shouldn't be so that you don't even like it. Come on, that's crazy. But to get into that space, you got to start off with something simple, and that's in your mind. So you have to use our affirmations effectively right now. That's one of the challenges that we're dealing with is what's coming out of our mouth is manifesting. That's why I'm asking you to bless our world, bless our leaders, bless it. Just bless it. Trust me, trust and believe. It is better to send forth positive energy out and reflect that negativity. Because I'm telling you something, 30% of your energy goes down when you're dealing with a negative person. I have personally witnessed it. I have personally seen my energy shift by dealing with someone who is in a derogatory or negative space and wants me to share it with them. And I'm just trying to be cool, trying to stay loose and just be of, spirit. But they want to give it to you. Okay. They really want you to get in there with them. Like, hey, don't you want some of my doo-doo? Don't you hate it when somebody's like, this tastes terrible, taste it. I believe you. I believe it tastes terrible. I don't want to taste it. Right? So think about what's coming out of your mouth. I mean, really just spend some time evaluating your attitude. Is it of gratitude? Are you okay? Do you feel like things are going your way? And if not, then pinpoint it down. Like, what is it that's not going your way specifically? And then pray on that. See, one of the things we do in meditation class is that there's no talking. I literally guide you through the subconscious, super subconscious, into that deeper part of you. And while you're there, you get a chance to explore whatever is going on with you. There's no battle, there's no war. It is literally just loving yourself. And, maybe your guides and angels pop up. Who knows? You're connected more than what you think, but maybe you don't believe. So that's always the little question mark. I just don't believe it. And, that's a personal thing. You have to decide where your faith level is and where you want to dwell. But I promise you, when you get on the other side of concentrating on bringing the positivity, being honorable to yourself, treating yourself kind, you attract that energy. It's a magnet. I shid you not. It is a magnet. And it just starts drawing to itself its own. I got so many notes. I have to actually look at my notes because this was a big one. Okay, I got to say this. I got an award. Okay. All right. So when you're on your path and you're having to deal with a lot of different factors and you're working your magic, You want to ask for a sign. And sometimes, things are not going the way you scheduled, not going nowhere near the way you planned. And your mind and spirit are like, what the? And I know. And you're thinking to yourself, what the fudge? And you're dealing with situations and people. Okay, this is when you have to ask for a sign. Okay, you have to ask for divine guidance, divine insight, sign. Whatever your meditation is, you need to pull that up right at that moment. Because that energy is so strong with you. You could send energy in the direction that you need it to, but you got to get that feeling going. Like, okay, just send me a sign, trust and knowing. I know I'm going to get a sign. Boom. Well, I got a sign. It's from, let me make sure I say this right because I don't want to mess this up. Um, it's from Feed Spot. It's a website company that features top different candles, spots, and things like that. My blog, my aromatherapy blog that I've been doing for over 20 years, got recognized in the top 50 for 2025. And I got a little award. And I'll put the link here. So I was pretty proud of myself. But the thing is it came in as I was praying for a sign. I was praying for a sign because it's challenging. I'm not going to say it's hard, but it could be challenging weaving through life and managing what you have to manage and, helping those that you can help. All right. So that was my sign. I want to share that with you because that's how the universe works. If you really work walking on your path, little things. This was to me beautiful and major for me, but it's still beautiful. It's beautiful because it gave me a little pat on the back. I've moved away from the networks now. I'm doing just this channel and focusing on bringing you guys more classes, just more connection to you. So, bear with me while I get all this other stuff together. But the thing is I keep it real. So knowing that the work that I've done is recognized authentically, organically, feels really good. And it came in a time when I was asking for that prayer. I was asking for that light. I was asking for that guidance, and the universe heard. I'll give you another example. One of my more successful students, she thinks she's a work in progress because we all are. I keep telling her you're not the only one. She walks out. God, it's just too cute. It's too cute. I don't even want to mess this up. I'm going to look it up to make sure that I am not even like missing a beat on this one. Hold on. She works. Girl works 2 jobs. Okay. And she does that for her family, but she does that also to keep herself busy because she knows herself. And that's a beautiful thing. And she was going through it because she works in retail for one of the part-time jobs. And the people have been assholes lately because, not everybody's enlightened. And they're all God's children. So we have to bless them and send them love. Trust me. And that's what she did. But she was like, man, it's one of those moments when you're like, fudge knockers, this is some bullshit. And she's like, just show me a sign. And literally, she walks, turns around, and there's a pillow. It's a donut pillow with the sun in the middle. And it says, trust the universe. She took a picture of it and sent it to me. Boom. That's how they work. That is a true story. I am telling you fact. But we are all walking in our path and we own it. We own it. And like I said, you have to balance out whatever is going on in your life, whoever you love. That's why it's important to know thyself. Know thyself. Because then you know your parameters and what you can and cannot do before you go over the edge. That makes sense? You guys have any fruit today? What about your veggies? Put it in the chat. If you did, what did you have? And was it good? And did you drink enough water? Now, the recommended amount is 64 ounces in a 24-hour window. If you can't get to 64 ounces off the top, which not a problem, then just, start with a bottle and maybe increase it and just add a little bit more and maybe eat more stuff that's water-based, cucumbers, things that give you moisture. Bananas give you moisture, and carrots is also good. You take care of those two. That's your orange and your yellow. Which, speaking of orange and yellow, those are the colors. Those are the fragrances. That's the scent. I mean, it's mm, mm, mm. Orange and lemon both fall in the citrusy family, and one's yellow and one is, orange. And they literally represent not only the color, the fruit, the scent, the smell. You can eat it. You can wash things with it. It disinfects. I mean, it's one of those. The citrus family is one of those magnificent things that you can even cook with it. Where do you think ceviche comes from? And ceviche is a Mexican dish. It's chopped up fish with lemon, limes, and oregano. I put a little bit of garlic powder in mine, and you let it sit, and then literally the bacteria from the lemons and the oranges will cook the fish. Mhm. And so therefore you can eat it. So I'm going to recommend lemons and tangerines during this period because that orange, zesty, citrusy scent will help you with your communications, which was yellow. That's what I think communications represents. And the orange will give you that creativity. And I'm picking orange because as we go into April, I didn't want to go straight out fire. So I decided to go with orange tangerine for our featured candle for next month. Now, the beautiful thing at Candles by Ari is I've thought of a lot of different ways for you guys to connect. So definitely check out my candles, okay, candlesbyari.com, because we do have a class candle combination for $49.99. That's a monthly subscription. And literally, you get 2 8-ounce candles delivered, and you get access to the meditation class automatically. And if you don't go to class, because maybe you get busy, you can request a copy because I have an on demand library through Zoom. Okay. So that class combo has been around for at least, I don't know, 7 years, and it's pretty impactful. It's like you get more bang for your buck because I do 2 classes a month, and you can have access to either one of those. Okay, so that's some cool ass energy right there off the top. That's telling you use citrus. Okay. And if you can't use citrus, then maybe eat an apple or paint an orange or paint a picture of something orange. I mean, do something to combine those fragrances, colors, scents, however you want to do it, because I think it would help a great deal while we're in these double whammy retrogrades. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And definitely the meditation. Meditation, you guys. You have to think about what you're saying. You have to think about who your audience is and maybe stop to consider other people's point of view, not in a negative way, but in a way that keeps you calm enough to make really wise choices and not just react because you pissed off. No veggies or fruit yet, but I will now that you have reminded me. Outstanding, Mrs. Lopez. Outstanding. And that's all you need sometimes. And so I want to talk about the GAP program. GAP is the guided astrology program that I've developed. We will bring back the Manifestation Bootcamp. I am working on that as well. But with the GAP program, which I'm going to figure out a way to combine those at some point because they're 2 different things, but they do have a connecting factor. Anyway, that'll be an advanced class. With the GAP program, I am going to be doing weekly Zoom recordings to break down what's happening and give more specifics to each sign. But I'm going to also make sure I talk about the Mercury's position because sometimes people don't know where their Mercuries are, or they don't know why certain things don't play with them. So I am going to be trying to give more information about those aspects and looking at what's going on with those signs and how that's being affected. Because, you want to know how you're going to be able to deal. We're also going to have some food recommendations, some health tips, just to stay healthy and beautiful. And of course, maybe some breathing because we all need a little breathing. Now, in the monthly subscription, we're going to do an intro for $9.99. After that, it's a flat rate of $19.99 a month. That's $20 a month. And it gives you access where we'll be sending out our weekly. It also gives you opportunities for discounts and other things that we have available at the site. And like I said, with my work online, it's just like what we did live here in California, except I'm transferring everything to the online library. And I'm very proud of how this is coming about because it gives us an opportunity to see what you guys like and what you guys dig. I mean, every time I do a short on cooking, you guys go crazy on those numbers. So I will add that uh, aspect because I actually really enjoy cooking. Like I like new recipes, even if I don't have all the equipment, I'll still try to do it. I taught myself how to do Chinese, watching a Chinese person during the pandemic. Yes, I did because I got tired of paying 40, $50 per shot for Chinese food. Though I really did enjoy it and it was freaking fantastic, it was kicking my ass on my budget. So I just took the matters in my own hands. So I'll show you my little trial and errors and things of that nature. So the GAP program is going to start in April. April 1st, it'll be available. Okay. And then we'll be sending out the weeklies. And twice a month, I will do a live hour, which I'll announce, giving you guys a chance to give me some feedback, ask some questions. And like I said, keep it motivating. The whole thing about the GAP program is to give you that extra coaching, but like wherever you are, right? And of course, you can always do a one-on-one. Okay, group meditation. We got the color and fragrance class that will be coming back, so I can tell you guys, what color is the more powerful, why that color will be good for you. So we have a lot of work to do that I feel like now is the time for us to get busy, and you guys can understand why my clients have been so successful and why they do move to their next levels because they're doing the work on themselves. They're listening to their inner dialogue and they're not allowing negative programming. And I know it's hard because that's that trauma. It's the trauma. Not all of us had, cool grandmothers and functioning parents and, people that actually was just listening to us and spend time with us. Some of us had to grow up pretty goddamn fast. And some of us didn't have anything but maybe TV or other kids to help us get through. None of these things make you weak. It just makes you learn differently. If that makes sense, you just learn differently. You're not like maybe programmed to follow a manual. Maybe you prefer video. Maybe you prefer to listen to someone giving you insight. But it's finding your way that you feel comfortable receiving energy and releasing energy is the most important thing you can look for, or I look for in an astrology chart, because that will either be a smooth thing or a really rough thing, depending on the person's internal dialogue and what they want to do. You have the power to make whatever you want in life. I just shared with you, I asked for a sign, I got it. One of my favorite clients walks out of a area that she's asking, give me a sign, and it says, follow, trust the universe on a pillow, like right in front of her. And it was in rainbow colors. I mean, this is how the universe talks to us. This is how the universe walks with us. But we have to do our part because we are free willed. And free willed means no one can tell you what to do. Yep. Nobody can tell you what to do. Even if you don't agree with something, don't care for something, they can't make you do whatever. And that part is where that self power comes in. I think that's why Venus is doing what it's doing with Mercury right now. Because being in Aries for so long, that was like a week and a half, it forced you to have to deal with what was going on in your head, right? Whatever that was going on, that noggin started coming up. Now you have an opportunity to use whatever you've learned and meditate and ask for guidance. Like literally ask for guidance. I'm well, thanks. And the universe will hear you. The universe does understand you, but you have to be ready to listen to what they say in return. That's why I asked you to think about your affirmations and listen to my older podcasts. They're all on iHeart. There's over 350 of them. I did include affirmations at one point during the show, but I'm not doing that anymore, especially with the GAP program that includes affirmation, aromatherapy, and astrology. No, you guys need to come in and listen. For those who want to listen, if you don't, that's okay. Keep doing what you're doing and enjoy yourself. All right. But this is really about that gap between what we've learned and how we, digest it and how we use it. And that gap is where that astrology, affirmation, aromatherapy works with that trauma to help you deal with those core issues, right? So that you can have that fulfillment. And I'm saying meditation is the best way to start because that's absolutely something you can do on your own right now. Now, I do a group guided meditation through my Zoom. Been doing it for quite some time, over 20 years, and I've been doing it online since the pandemic. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much, but it's actually turned out to be a wonderful tool. And we have a hell of a library of previous classes. So, energy begots energy, but you have to create that positive energy you want first within you so that you can be that match that keeps drawing in what you're asking for instead of repelling what you need. Now, I told you about the combo class special at Candles by Ari. It's two 8-ounce candles. Candle of the month for next month will be orange, and it's going to be a tangerine orange. It's like a Sicilian orange. It's very, makes you pucker. It's delicious. And the scent is going to be orange as well. So it's tangerine orange with an orange scent. It's yummy. So that's $49.99 with the featured candle color of the month. Mercury retrograde ends on the 27th. Mercury just went in to Pisces. Venus just also went into Pisces, and that retrograde uh, will end on the 7th. Yeah, on the 7th. And I'll double check these dates because, like I said, we're human. But this Venus and Mercury moving into Pisces, it just adds a little bit more of a notch because now we're going to deal with our emotions with all the sun sign being in Aries. Remember, the theme is practical, loving thoughts. What does that mean to you? Practical, loving thoughts. Just take that in for a minute. What does practical, loving thoughts mean to you? This month, I am going to recommend citrus and two different colors since we have two different retros going on. And scents, this is something you guys can incorporate into your diet. Lemons and oranges. Lemons and oranges. They both have that Venus Mercury theme going. You can use lemons to make lemonade. You can use orange to make orange juice. You can also use them in cooking. Okay, they are great fruit by themselves, and lemon is very versatile. You can use it to clean, get rid of stains. I mean, it's a lot. I'm not going to go on and on, but I recommend those aromatherapy flavors. Here at Candles by Ari, we're going to feature the orange, tangerine orange candle for the feature candle for next month, April. Ooh. So my tangerine orange has got that little, that makes you pucker. So do keep that in mind. I got an award from FeedSpot from my aromatherapy blog. So pretty proud of that. I'll also put that link in the blog. I mean, my blog, you guys. I've been blogging for 20 years, at least once a quarter, sometimes more than not. And it's just nice to be recognized for work that is truly from my heart that I know helps you guys with that trauma and those core issues so that you can start spiritually developing with the way you want. But you got to participate with me. You got to work with me. So definitely like, follow, subscribe, share. Okay. Take a look at my websites, candlesbyari.com and spiritualcoacharimac.com. And basically, you guys, I'm going to be putting more lead magnets out, and that's going to be about Mercury and about Venus and just little things that will give you an insight of what the GAP program, which is a new program we're launching in April. On the website, it may say we're using YouTube, but we will be changing that. We're going to exclusively probably go with Zoom. I think I'm making that decision right now, and we can always change it. It's a monthly subscription that you'll be receiving another level of connection with me through Zoom with my my weekly specifics about each of the elements, all four elements, which is all 12 signs. And it's got the spiritual messages in it. Mm-hmm. And some aromatherapy and some more insight about affirmations. Because you do need to use the affirmations. And I've created that with Candles by Ari. The affirmation is right on the candle. It's one behind me right now. There's one burning on top of my head. So you got a lot of different ways to connect with me, but you got to participate with me, and that is getting started. So what's going to take for you to be happy? How can I add value to your life? That's the question. I know when your core issues are being addressed, you're a lot healthier because you're at least moving some of that poo-poo, that shit out of your way. Otherwise, it stays and it just hangs out. Next thing you know, you're thinking you're over something and you're walking right into it. So you have to decide what's going on in your noggin, and then just move accordingly. Do you want to go forward and take ownership and accept responsibility for you and your choices? Don't let anybody manipulate you into thinking that they aren't doing stuff to you, because energy is energy. And if you feel something, guys, honor that. I mean, just honor it, because our intuitions are there for a reason. And I'm not talking the trauma, I'm talking where you feel something and it keeps coming. That's what an intuition is. It comes very lightly, it's non-threatening, it's not trying to drive you crazy, but it lingers for a little bit. And if you don't want to use it, it just kind of fades because you choose not to. Okay, so with the Mercury retrograde and Venus whammy retrogrades we got going right now, which is the title for this episode, I'm going to recommend citrus, primarily oranges and lemons. You can make a tea out of it. You can use the color. You can eat it, dance with it, clean with it. I mean, you got a lot of, cook with it. You got a lot of options. And that aromatherapy color and fragrance will give you a little bit more vitamin C. That's not an accident as well. That helps protect your immune system. Because remember, we're 99.9% water. So when there's a retrograde going on, the planet is pulling away from us. And it is affecting you. Maybe not as much as you think, but it is affecting you. I know for a fact that my digital stuff around here has been acting weird. It's been acting weird, okay? And I've just been letting it go because this week we peak. We peak on retros, plural. I stand corrected. So I go live here on YouTube on Thursdays. I am probably going to be doing a little bit more live in the evening just because I know there's a time difference with some of my people and I do want to be fair. So I'm going to try to figure out how to work that into my schedule, but that'll pop up as needed. So I want to say thank you all so much for listening to my information and insight. Like I said, I had a whole page of notes today because I was like, you know what? Mercury and Venus retrograde, this double whammy. We need to talk about this. We need to talk. And what I'm talking about applies to overall general. I did not go into the different signs, only the signs that I described so you understand how they rule. But everything can be applied to all of us. There's nothing wrong with having, what did I say? Practical or practice loving thoughts. Practice loving thoughts. What a concept. Practice loving thoughts. I'm restricting off TikTok and all my girls on your head. Okay, cool, good for you. All right, so thank you, like I said, for just being you, hanging out with me. Please like and follow. Go over to candlesbyari.com. I will leave the registration information for both the classes and the GAP program and the monthly special with the class and candle combo from heaven. And do stay blessed. All right. This is one of those times where we're ending this retrograde in such a different mindset. And if you could just honor yourself and not be so caught up in all the antics and let your guides and angels just speak to you, just ooze their love to you, because they do love you, but they speak in a gentle voice, like walking out of, turn around and after you ask to sign and seeing a pillow that says, trust the universe. I would go with that being a sign. Just say it. Okay. So thank you. Like I said, we do this once a week. We do have classes consistently twice a month with the meditation, and the new gap will be rolling out April 1st. So thank you. Thank you for joining. I so appreciate you, and stay blessed. If you have any questions, leave them in your comments or DM me privately. And don't forget to follow me on all the social medias under Candles by Ari, Spiritual Coach Ari Mac. All right. Stay blessed. Bye.